time for coffee with an acting improviser. I got my mug. You go get yours, and I'll be waiting for you. Hi, and welcome back. How do you drink your coffee? I like mine simple. I like it black, hot, and strong. That's it. That's for me. So I always kind of wondered how you did your things, because I've always kept mine neat and clean, not just my coffee, but most other things that I partake of. For example, ever since I was a kid, I've had this thing where I just didn't like to add things to my foods. I grew up in Texas, and sweet tea is a big deal down there. They start making tea by putting sugar in it. I kid you not. It hurts your teeth just to drink this stuff. And then salads, when I was a kid, even then, I didn't like to put dressing on my salads. I liked it dry, as the servers will tell you, because I like salad. I like the way it tastes. And toast, even toast, I don't butter my toast. People put butter all over it. I'm sure maybe you do too. And I'm not judging you. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind if you put butter on your toast, but I don't like the way it feels, and I don't like the way it tastes necessarily. Now, that goes on to other things that people put butter on, like baked potatoes. Baked potatoes I'm very specific about in a different kind of a way. Maybe I'm just more lenient. For example, if I have a baked potato, I don't want butter and I don't want sour cream. Sour cream to me is, you shouldn't be eating sour cream. It's gone sour. It's time to throw it out. That's just the way I've always felt about it. I know it's used in baking, and sometimes that's really good, and I'll eat that, and I won't complain, but I won't slather it on top of a potato because it just feels wrong to me. The things I will add to a potato are like salt and bacon, because bacon, you can put bacon on pretty much anything. But I've been that way since I was a kid. Hot drinks were a completely different thing for me then, too. I used to drink hot apple cider. That was seasonal. That was like fall. And hot chocolate, that was seasonal. That was like winter. That was a holiday thing too. That was a big deal in the holidays, hot chocolate, because we used to make hot chocolate in the evening to make sure that we all went to bed when we were supposed to and fell asleep when we were supposed to. So we had hot milk with chocolate, and we would make that, and everybody would sit down and drink that, and then they would send us off to bed before somebody arrived and put things underneath the tree. Welcome to the holidays. Yeah. Fun stuff. And I remember even like a rite of passage at the point where I was actually allowed to make the hot chocolate. That was a big deal. I was in Berlin when that happened. That was so much fun. And it's just ridiculous how important the simplest things can be to us in our memories and how we do that. Because hot chocolate to me forever is going to be a comfort food. And I never drank coffee. I didn't like coffee. I didn't like coffee because I tasted coffee and I didn't like it. I don't remember ever tasting it, but I didn't like it in the sense that I think all kids know there are foods that they don't like. They just look at them and they know that one is not okay. I don't know. It was like lima beans. It was like, well, I was going to say liver, but honestly, I had to eat liver and I just never liked it. So maybe coffee reminded me of liver. I don't know. Any way it went, it just wasn't on my palate list of things that I wanted to experience. So that's okay. I didn't actually learn how to drink coffee until I joined the service. I was 20 years old when I joined the service, and I went to basic training tech school and then to my first assignment without drinking a drop of coffee. And then I got there and started working mid-shifts. 7 o'clock in the evening to 7 o'clock in the morning. That's a long shift. And that's what I was working. So I had to drink coffee because I had to stay awake for those 12 hours once the shift started. I couldn't just go to sleep. So I learned how to drink serious coffee. And they made that coffee very serious. They made that stuff black, hot, and so strong. But it had to be. It had to be to get you through the evening. Not when I first started drinking it, but as I started developing a little bit of an acclimation to it, and the caffeine didn't work as well as it used to. But yeah, that was the thing. And I learned how to drink that right to the end of shift, drive home, get in bed, and go right to sleep again. As long as the coffee was strong enough to get me home, I was fine. Once I was there, all bets were off. I just let it go. Did you know that actually, I'm thinking about that, was the first place that I had a really traumatic coffee experience? And I mean traumatic trauma. It was like PTSD for coffee, if there is such a thing. And I'm not just, the thing that happened was I was working a mid shift and it was probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I've been dragging for a long time. I walk in the break room, I want a cup of coffee, and lo and behold, a fresh pot of hot coffee waiting for me, which is a rarity. People don't always like to make the coffee, but it was there. So I poured myself a cup and I took my first sip of what I was just really looking forward to sitting down and enjoying. And you know, when I used to watch television and movies, I used to think spit takes were fake, that it just wasn't a real thing. It was like so contrived and fake. It just, nobody actually does that, right? Right. Right. Well, the thing was, whoever made this pot of coffee knew that I was coming because they made it special for me. And they put a beef flavor packet from a ramen soup package into the coffee. So I was drinking beef flavored black coffee. Wrap your head around that one. I did a spit take. I sprayed that stuff all over the floor. That was just the most disgusting thing that I have ever tasted. And I had to eat liver when I was growing up, so I know what disgusting is. And I was just infuriated. I lost my mind. I didn't break my mug because I had enough forethought to stay in control on that one. But I was just so mad because they ruined it. It was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I was awake, but it was because I was angry now, not because I had some good coffee. And dump the whole thing, start all over again. I was so mad about that. It was just, it was traumatic. It was traumatic. I don't know how else to describe that. But that was probably one of the reasons why I never wanted anything in my coffee, because I have this like in the back of my mind association of things being added to the coffee that make it purely disgusting, right? So no sugar, no cream, nothing else goes in coffee until I went to Alaska. And there was a very good logical reason for me to change in Alaska, because when I got there, it was November, cold, 40 below, gelid in Alaska when I got there. And I needed stuff to help me stay warm. And I had taken a day trip to Fairbanks, gone to this little plaza, and they had a coffee bar there. And I hadn't even really experienced this yet, because it wasn't a thing at that time all over the place like it is now. So I went in and they had hot chocolate, and then of course they had coffee. But then they had this coffee with hot chocolate in it, the mocha java. And that of course just appealed to everything that I wanted at that time. Here I am remote, and here's my favorite comfort drink, hot chocolate, and here's my favorite daily drink, coffee, and you can put those together. Oh, so you know. Hot chocolate, the best comfort food with 2 shots of espresso in it. Man, that was a dream. And that's what happened. Right at that time, that day, I started drinking mocha javas, foo coffee. For me, I was broken. I no longer just exclusively drank black coffee. And ever since then, I have been allowing myself to experiment with other things. But that's okay. One rule down out of the whole black hot and, super strong coffee, I think I'm not doing too bad. It felt like a pretty good compromise because I was in Alaska after all. But then eventually I left. I came back to the lower 48, to the contiguous United States. And I ended up in Colorado Springs. And it's a lot nicer here than it is in Alaska. I mean, you get actual daytime all year round. You get daylight, you get nighttime all year round. You get cold winters, to be sure, but the summers are very nice, and you don't need to drink hot coffee or even hot chocolate all year round. So I started putting it back where it was before, and hot chocolate became that wintry comfort food for me again. And mochas became the wintry comfort drink that reminded me of my time in Alaska, which was actually really nice, by the way. I enjoyed Alaska. But I didn't do much else. And I got married. My wife is wonderful, but she drinks iced coffee, or she used to drink iced coffee. She talks more about it than she actually drinks it now. And I never really got it, though. And then my youngest kiddo eventually started working for a coffee place, just like the one I discovered in Alaska, and I thought that was super cool. And that works out really good because then we can go visit them at work and buy coffee. We've actually intruded a little bit on their work thing without actually being embarrassing level intruding, which is okay. So I would go there and get drinks, and during the fall, here's what happened. Eventually, they talked me into trying something new. I guess I was kind of worn out on mochas, and I wanted something a little bit different. So they suggested that I get it's white chocolate and macadamia nut in the coffee, which is cool, because white chocolate and macadamia nut reminds me of Hawaiian stuff, but that's a whole different story. So I was willing to try that, and it was so good. So that became my new drink, white chocolate macadamia nut coffee, 2 shots of espresso in that thing. I should just say extra. I always order the extra shot whenever I get it. But that's neither here nor there. That's just another winter drink, right? So come spring and summer, I'm not drinking that anymore because it's just hot outside, and that's not what I want when I'm driving my car. So they talked me into trying this. Put it on ice and blend it. They blend it into ice, and I was kind of on the fence about this one, but willing to try something new, and I did. And it was good. It was so good. I was suddenly realized that I was not just drinking fufu coffee anymore. I was drinking frozen fufu coffee, and I had completely gone to the dark side on this one. I didn't know if there was any way back, and I honestly didn't care if there was any way back from that, because it was a nice place to be. It really was. So I stayed there. But I still drink my coffee strong. I still take the extra shot. I still make sure that it's got the power to keep me going, because I hope I never have to give up caffeine. I would have to give it up medically, and I don't want to ever have to do that, because I don't know, that's the last real thing that coffee has got going for it that I need to maintain. But I feel like if you take the caffeine out of the bean, if you assault it with chemicals and extract all of that goodness, then you have changed the fundamental nature of the coffee. It's no longer coffee. It is water flavored like coffee. And that's not what I want. I want my coffee. That's always going to be that way. That may change too. I don't know. I mean, I've changed a lot over the years. I've given on a lot of things. I'll take salad with dressing. If I get it on the side so I can control how much goes on it, because I don't want them slathering it in dressing. I mean, I could eat the dressing by itself if I just wanted to taste that. And if toast shows up and there's butter on it in a restaurant, I won't send it back automatically anymore. I'm just tired of doing that, and it's not that horrible anymore. And potatoes, potatoes are still the same. I don't want any sour cream or butter on those. I will put bacon and salt on it, but that's still pretty much it. And I won't eat liver. I don't have to anymore. Nobody's going to make me eat it, so I'm not going to touch it. And I won't go out of my way for it on my own. I can guarantee you that. Yep. Well, that was it. I wanted to talk about coffee today, and I got a little bit distracted. Sorry about that. But, hey, if you have a special favorite coffee or a way that you drink it that I haven't thought of or hasn't occurred to me, go ahead and drop a comment in there. And I'm going to get down to editing this thing and getting it posted out. And next week, you'll see another improv monologue of the day. I'm going to drag one of them out from the archives and post that one up too and start working on the next episode. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed your coffee. I always love mine. Have a great day, and we'll see you.